Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to explore a question that is, honestly, profoundly unsettling. What actually happens to the human mind when the universe simply stops pretending to be legible? We're diving deep into the terrifying, yet bizarrely beautiful sci-fi narrative of Epsilon-Zero from the novel Rendezvous with the Abyss. It's a journey all about the breakdown of human logic, the absolute limits of our science, and the terrifying tenderness of a cosmos that finally decides to speak back. You know, this chilling thought on cosmic dread perfectly frames the stakes of our story. We're following Commander Elias Thorne and the brilliant crew of the survey vessel Uriel. Picture this, they are 11 months out, 340 astronomical units from the sun, hanging right at the very edge of the solar system. Out there in the genuine dark, the stars don't twinkle, and the universe absolutely does not care about human ambition. Their entire mission is built on this cozy scientific assumption that reality makes geometric sense. But as we're about to see, that assumption, it's about to be completely shattered.
But there's an entirely different philosophy at play here too, a Taoist approach that offers the exact opposite perspective. Instead of trying to force human understanding onto an utterly incomprehensible universe, this Taoist calm holds the tension between knowing and mystery. Keep this idea of wu-wei, which roughly translates to effortless action, in the back of your mind. Because, spoiler alert, it's going to become the Uriel crew's literally only viable tool for survival when they come face to face with the impossible.
All right, let's get right into Section 1, the anomaly at the edge.
So out in that genuine dark, Commander Thorne and his crew finally encounter their target. It's an anomaly designated Epsilon-Zero, and what they find is a structure so geometrically pure, it feels almost obscene to the human eye. We are talking about a perfect, regular dodecahedron, exactly 12 kilometers long each and every edge, and it's completely stationary. Which, by the way, is physically impossible for a dense body in that region without a massive gravitational footprint. It doesn't twinkle, it doesn't drift, it just sits there, completely, terrifyingly correct, defying literally every rule of astrophysics we have.
And what's really unsettling is how Epsilon-Zero immediately toys with our scientific comforts. It has an albedo of 0, meaning it actively withholds light, creating a shape that is somehow blacker than deep space itself. The ship's instruments say it's generating 3.7 solar masses, but that mass just isn't physically present. Even wilder, its gravitational topology has been sculpted like a harbor. It's practically inviting the crew inside along these highly specific approach vectors. Oh, and those 60 vertices? Their positions are perfectly divisible by the orbital periods of our own planets. It's like a mathematically perfect cosmic welcome mat.
Which brings us to Section 2, when the instruments fail.
The technological breakdown here isn't some sudden cinematic explosion. It's actually much creepier. It's a quiet, polite rebellion of the ship's sensors. As they get closer, the mass spectrometer reports the vacuum is made of argon, and then it just gives up. The navigation system casually resets and places the Orion inside the Orion Nebula, over 1,000 light-years away. By the time they hit the 100-kilometer mark, the local vacuum energy drops below the theoretical minimum, which shouldn't be a thing that happens. And at 50 kilometers? Total computational blackout. Every single computer trying to model the space outside the hull just shuts down.
The really crucial point to grasp here is that Epsilon-Zero isn't attacking the ship. Like Commander Thorne realizes, the anomaly is just being itself, so completely and so fully that human mathematics and physics just shatter against it. The tools we rely on to understand reality are failing because the fundamental axiomatic frameworks they were built on, they simply do not apply in the presence of Epsilon-Zero.
Let's move on to Section 3, unbuffering human perception.
Right around 80 kilometers out, Epsilon-Zero starts messing with human biology, switching off a mechanism known as reality buffering. So normally, our nervous systems smooth out the raw, terrifying quantum data of the universe into nice, solid objects and a livable narrative so we can, function on a daily basis. But Epsilon-Zero turns that buffer completely off. It exposes the crew to the sheer, horrifying scale and truth of the cosmos that our brains evolved specifically to ignore.
And the structure starts speaking to each crew member directly through their own scientific discipline, peeling away all their comforts. Leia, the navigator, starts perceiving time all at once. She sees the ship's entire past and all its possible futures as one giant 4D object. Yusuf, the mathematician, has equations written directly into his mind that describe consciousness as a topological feature of the universe. Kenji sees all biological life as one single continuous organism. And Dio, the engineer,
He feels this ancestral fire that forces him to just laugh at the terrifying scale of the universe. This is raw, unmediated cosmic reality hitting them all at once.
Here is where things get really intense. Section 4, the art of stillness. At 30 kilometers out, the anomaly's defense mechanism finally kicks in, and it is terrifyingly simple. It gives the crew exactly what they desperately want. By reading their deep, pre-rational desires to solve, to map, and to understand, Epsilon-Zero accelerates their thoughts. It takes the patterns they project onto it and just completes them instantly, amplifying their cognitive load until their minds threaten to literally break under the pressure of their own velocity. It's wild. Human intention itself becomes the weapon used against them.
So now, the crew is trapped in a deadly paradox. If they use active intention, the standard scientific method of forcing an answer, it will literally kill them. Thorne figures this out just in the nick of time. The absolute only way to survive is to adopt that Taoist posture we talked about earlier, wu wei, stillness. They have to offer attention but completely without agenda. By stopping their intense desire to figure the object out, they break the lethal feedback loop, and it allows the structure's ambient environment to finally calm down. Dropping away all the complexity for a second, the crew notices something incredible on the raw, unprocessed radar. The pulse returning from the anomaly hits exactly every 1.17 seconds, with zero variation. It's this deeply unsettling rhythm that perfectly mimics a resting human heartbeat. Epsilon-Zero isn't defending itself anymore, it's listening to them.
Which allows them to slip inside. Section 5, the ancient archive. Inside, the crew analyzes this biological residue lining the exterior of the structure, and they discover a staggering figure. The organic material is 11 billion years old. I mean, the universe was incredibly young when this was formed. But here's the kicker. This isn't just dead matter. It's a text. It is written in the medium of life itself, simply because biology is the only information storage system durable enough to survive across that kind of deep geological and cosmic time.
Dr. Watanabe discovers that this organic material is actually a message left behind by countless species before us. Over billions of years, it's life writing to life, and the message translates to something so profoundly, beautifully simple. You are not the first, you will not be the last, do not be afraid. It's an ancient, comforting message that completely validates his entire career. The universe is biased toward complexity, and humanity is not alone.
And inside this impossible space, reality gets even weirder. The interior is actually larger than the exterior. It's lit with this diffuse, sourceless light, kind of like an overcast cathedral. The walls are completely inscribed with the mathematical notations of every single species that is ever visited. Basically, Epsilon-Zero is a cosmic hard drive, a seed bank. It's holding on to a decaying pocket of the universe's prior vacuum state, literally the physics that existed before our Big Bang. And it has just been sitting there, waiting for a species capable of witnessing it without breaking.
And now for the aftermath. Section 6, Carrying the Abyss Home.
The return journey alters absolutely everything. Even the Uriel's computers change, somehow learning to report genuine uncertainty rather than the comfortable lies of false precision. The navigation system starts logging space-time stability as a variable, not a constant. And the crew themselves are altered. They are damaged, but they are profoundly changed. They realize standard scientific reports just can't hold this kind of truth, so they write personal testimonies, songs, philosophical commentaries. Commander Thorne literally drafts his official mission report as a sci-fi novel.
As Dr. Watanabe ultimately concludes, the broken, hesitant, honest instruments are actually vastly superior to the confident, lying ones they launched with. True understanding actually requires accepting the limits of our knowledge and fully, openly embracing the mystery of what we simply cannot measure. The structure showed the memories of others who had visited over the eons. The ones who succeeded were those who could bring this vastness back in human-sized vessels. The crew realizes they have to refuse to shrink back into the safe, buffered reality of the inner solar system. They have to go back and live their ordinary lives with the walls of their selves left permanently open to the cosmos.
And that leaves us with a final, provocative thought for you to ponder. Once you've had your reality unbuffered, once you truly understand how small you are, and yet how profoundly connected you are to an 11 billion-year-old chain of consciousness, how do you just go back to drinking recycled coffee and filing reports? When the universe stops pretending to be legible, how will you carry that truth forward? Think about that for a bit, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.